So it is Sunday, June 20th. Getting ready for another week here, guys. Going to go over all of our swing trading analysis for the week. There's been some good swing trading moves. The intraday strategy has been a bit slow. 2 weeks ago, I took some losses on the intraday strategy. So last week, I kind of took it easy on that. I was just focusing on doing swing trades. This week, I'm going to get back into it a little bit. But this session is mainly just going to be swing trading. So we're going to go over all the analysis for the higher time from here. I'm going to go the major pairs. If you guys want any bonus pairs, we can get that going as well. But what do you guys think? What do you want? What pair do you guys want me to get started with? Let's see. Nothing too crazy, nothing too exotic. GA, DXY, and majors. Yeah, I'm going to do DXY, major pairs. The dollar, obviously, last week, extremely bullish. You know, I'm going to trade US 30 and NAS, but I'm good with those. All right, word. Yeah, I know a lot more people have been trading the indices over the last couple months or so. It's pretty interesting. Let's see this. So we're getting some more people to joining us on the Sunday. Let's see this, which is obviously good. More in here, the merrier. BTC, XRP. We're not going to cover any cryptos, at least for now. Nick's not going to be on the call, so it's pretty much just going to be me. I'm going to be going over everything, so I'll run through some bonus pairs at the end here, but we'll get started with the dollar index. Let me just pull it up. All right, so we got DXY here. Let's take a look. We're going to bump up to the weekly as always. So guys, I'm always starting my analysis on the weekly time frame, weekly or monthly. We'll start on the weekly for now. I'm going to hop up to the monthly real quick, just see if there's any key levels right here. Only key level that I notice is we had, don't go too far back, but we have this resistance right here, this support right here. So I'm just going to mark this. I'm going to move it a little bit lower. I'm going to mark this as a support level. And then to the upside, we can clearly see we've got some highs right here, some lows right here. We got some highs right here, some lows right here. So nothing too crazy, kind of just eyeballing it a little bit, but we're nowhere near those levels, so it doesn't matter. Coming down to the weekly time frame, we can see something a little bit more immediate here. Let me just scroll out. We had all of this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had all these lows tested multiple times. I'm gonna get that going. And this is just a zone. This is just a range. That price came in, rejected multiple times, rejected here again, and then we see rejected there, rejected there. So once price kind of gets up into this area, I'm going to start evaluating short opportunities. Until then, this thing looks very bullish. Last week closing, large bullish candle. So obviously for the week, I'm anticipating it to come up a little bit more. There's no really resistance here. We can see there's some minor resistance right here, 1, 2, which is currently testing. So it certainly could pull back off of that, but just kind of a one look here. Last week closed very bullish. Next major resistance level is up here. So I am anticipating it to continue to go a little bit higher. There's nothing telling us, at least yet, that there's going to be any sort of reversal. Even coming all the way down to the 30-minute, things bullish on every single time frame. We've got 30-minute structure over and over again as being bullish. We've got this higher low, this high, this higher low, this high, this higher low, this new high, this higher low. So guys, as we can see, structure is very bullish all the way down to the 30-minute. So I am, again, anticipating this to go higher. As soon as it starts to break momentum on this lower time frame. So even can come up to the 1 hour. As soon as it starts to break momentum, so even like this area right here, we could potentially see something like this where price breaks, retest, then we're going to come down, retest this level, which we would then need to see a break, retest to head lower. So bringing back on these horizontal levels, we have this area. This was that high point. We have this area. Is that high or low in that previous high? So we could certainly see something like this, where we come down, break, retest, go short. But right now, DXY bullish as hell. So with that in mind, let's go over first to USD CHF. Now, this analysis again, guys, is specifically for swing trading. So with that in mind, when we're looking to swing trade, we're always trying to get in on lower high points. We're always trying to get on lower high points. We're always looking for structure on the daily, on the 4 hour time frame. Starting up on the monthly, we can see I have this blue level placed. Why do I have that there? On the weekly time frame, I noticed we had support, resistance, and then this area was tested again. So I'm looking for, when price comes into this area, I'm looking for resistance. I'm looking for a potential reversal. Again, look how last week closed. Very bullish, guys. And we had been anticipating this. It's nothing too crazy. If you looked at our previous analysis over the last couple of weeks, you can very clearly see we had dojis forming at the bottom, the spinning top. These are all reversal type candles. And then last week, we finally had the pop up. So we were anticipating this move. And then at this point now, we just have to be patient, let it come back into a resistance level, which would be up in that blue zone. Coming down to the daily time frame, structure momentum has certainly shifted to the upside. We could see the downward momentum here. And we had this originally marked sort of like this on the lower time frame. And then we had that pop up, the retest, boom. Again, we had gotten in on these trades, and then down to the 4 hour time frame. Again, we can clearly see once we have a huge breakout like this, where the trend was bearish this whole time, forming those lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. What we need to do now is we need to wait until it hits a more key level on the higher time frame, because it's moved so significantly that we can bump up to the higher time frame and say, okay, weekly now is getting near a resistance level, a key level. So once that level is met, that's when we're going to start to look for reversals or whatever. That's the next area. Until then, this is what I want to do. I want to keep buying. Swing trading, I wouldn't swing trade it until it came down into this support level. I drew this based on this support, 1, 2, and then resistance, 1, 2, 3. So that was the closest support level that I had marked. So if price does manage to swing down into this area, we have to come down about 30 pips or so. So if price comes down there, or what is that? 30 pips, whatever. If price comes down to that area, let's come down to here. Yeah, right here. That's when we'll look to swing trade this to the upside, 60 pips. So it'll be like 2-to-1, or actually be 3-to-1 if we get down to that area. Coming down to the 30-minute, we can clearly see price is just bullish, forming. I always do this. Let's get rid of this. So price is just extremely bullish, forming this higher low, this higher low. If price comes down to this higher low level and we see rejection again, this could continue to just fly into this level. So this is a potential trade idea. If price comes down here, shows rejection, then we would buy. We would buy it pretty much right here. We'd have stops. Our targets, first of all, would be up here, and we'd have to clearly make this at least a 2-to-1. So we'd have stops kind of in this area. If we were to bring on a fib, we could make our stop loss a little bit tighter. We'd fib from the previous higher low, put this here. We had 38.2 there. I could put it right outside 61.8. That'd be a 2-to-5 risk reward. So this is sort of trade idea number one. That's intraday, looking for the retest and then buy signal, take this long. The more high probability trade would be if price does make it down into this blue area, and then we finally shoot up into this area. In this case, stops would be around 45 pips, right around here. We would just put it pretty much below this low right here. Would give us more than enough space. So that's trade idea number 2. So we have 2 trade ideas. If price starts to break below this zone, guys, we're going to look to short. So that's trade idea number 3. So for tonight, if price comes down here and rejects this area, I will buy. And this is intraday. This is again the swing trading session, but because price is not near a swing trading area, I'm going to look for some more short-term type of move. So that's USD CHF. Let's go over to Euro USD next. Let's bump up to the weekly time frame. So last week, pretty clear now, obviously that it moved, but at the time we were in the mix. We saw last week, was up here. We had this bearish candle. We had these dojis spinning tops up at the high right here. So we were talking about this last week, taking shorts. Obviously, the shorts had played out. They dumped even more than expected. It dumped about 250 pips. And now we're just mapping out what is that next area where we could potentially find support one more time. And that is this area right here, guys. We have resistance, 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 support right there. So if price comes down into this area, we are certainly going to look for some longs right there. So last week, how did it close? Very bearish, no wick. So coming down now to the 4-hour. Just look at this on the 4-hour time frame. Bearish as hell. Had these minor pullbacks here, these little flag patterns on the lower time frame. So basically what I'm looking for intraday is I'm looking for this to continue to the downside. I will not take another swing trade unless this thing starts to pull back all the way up into this blue zone, which would then be near a 38.2 level. And I map this blue zone based on resistance, 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 support, support, support. So this is an area where it's not bullshit, guys. This is an area where price rejected significantly, rejected significantly, rejected, rejected, and then found support, found support. So if price comes back in that area, I'm expecting some sort of rejection, volume to kick in, and for it to send us in one direction. In the meantime, it's just bearish as hell. So why not try to take some short-term trades? Not going to do anything too risky. But looking at this on the 4-hour, this is the 4-hour support level. If price manages to break up and retest this level, I'm going to short. If it retests this level and shows rejection, I'm going to short this down into this zone. This is the zone we're expecting price to come into. I would have stops above this high right here, and this would be the trade. So this is the intraday level. That is the swing level. Swing level's up here, intraday level's right here. So if price comes up into the swing level, I'll map this one out as well. This will be the trade. Swing it down into this low, at least have it be 2-to-1. We can put stops right around here, 3-to-1. We've got stops at about 65 pips. And then we got targets at about 190. This one we have stops at 45, targets at 100. So these are the 2 trade ideas for Euro USD. Let's hit up the chat. Guys, please do fast in and out of the chat. A little slow. Alec, hey. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean, Alec, but you could always go back, watch the replay of the session. All the replays the replays are all on YouTube, as always. So you can always go back and do that. Let's see. Right here. Yeah, you can watch the replay just for it to be a little bit slower. We're going to go to NZD USD. And as you can see, this is a little different situation, guys. We are looking at these charts after a huge move. Last week, every single USD pair had a huge move, 200 plus pips. So now what I'm doing is I'm looking at this higher time frame. I'm looking at the higher time frame on every pair. Look at this. When price comes into this support level, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times this thing has rejected this area. We are coming back into this area again. It is highly likely that we will reject this area another time, but we're not there yet. So in the meantime, price momentum is very bearish, as we can see, to the downside. If we go to the 4 hour, I will not look for swing trades unless we retest this 4 hour level of support. I got this by scrolling back and looking at this area. Support, 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 resistance. So this is an area that has a lot of liquidity. If price manages to come up into that area, we could even fib it. That would be 38.2 right there. If price manages to come up in that area, guys, we are going to short it. First sign of rejection, wick, anything at all, we'll start to short it. We'll target down here, and we'll have our fibs on at that point to look at it a little more closely. But we could have stops there for now. So that's my one short idea. And then coming down all the way to the hourly time frame, we can see here on the hourly, we have a very minor level of resistance right here. To me, this is not as strong. If I were to take a short, I wouldn't be as confident in this level, but this is certainly an idea. We would have stops above this high point, so we'd be protected, and then we'd be targeting again this middle of this range down here where we're expecting price to get to. As you can see, this risk reward is not as good. We'd have to lower it a bit more, but this would be the second trade idea. Little retest of the resistance level on the 1 hour right there, showing any signs of rejection, entering on this one, and then getting to the downside. And the one thing I do like about this, guys, is that we still would have this other level at play. If it does come up into here, we have our stops above there. So still a decent idea by any means. So that's NZD USD. Next, let's take a look at GU. So let's bump up. And again, every single pair, kind of the same thing in a very similar spot right now. We have moved significantly. The only difference with GU is GU has actually moved into a support area. So we are hitting support right now. Again, weekly is just one look. Last week, as bearish as it gets, 250 pips, 300 pips to the downside. But now we're hitting the support area. So coming to the 4 hour right here, I have this based on all of this. We had support, support, resistance, support, resistance, support. Now we're back in that area. As you can see, price is opening up, pretty bullish right there. So I'm looking for two ideas. One idea, short up here. Our targets are going to be, if price does manage to come up there, you can map this out. This would be a 38.2 trade again. We'd be targeting a swing trade. So we'd be targeting negative 27. And we could very conservatively put our stops at 2 to 1. So that's trade idea number one. Trade idea number two is if price does manage to break the support level that we're at, we're going to look for a quick break and retest, and we're going to actually start to short this thing to the downside. So I'm going to map this one out for you. This is that first idea right there. Let me just get this cleaned up for you guys. This would be idea number two. We would have just a short break and retest. And this happened last week. Look at last week, guys. We already went over all the analysis, on the on Friday, but if you didn't, you can go on YouTube, check it out. Last week we had a killer week. We had, let's take this off. We had all of this tested, support, 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 support. Then there was a break and retest right here. Retested the resistance, turned into support, and then just dumped. And this is where we executed the trade right here. Came down, came up, we stayed in the trade, and then it fell to the downside. So we are looking for something similar right now, either a quick, break and retest of this level, and then we'll look to short it, or we are going to pull back, a bit more significantly to the upside, and then we're going to get trade idea number 2. So trade idea number 1, if this does happen, I would be targeting these lows. So always go back and look at the previous lows for your targets, guys. I don't believe price would break below here. So I would target those lows. My risk reward, I at least want to do 2-to-1 on this trade. So my risk reward would be right there. And this would be the trade idea. So trade idea number 1 is the swing trade. Let me just get this going. Trade idea number 2 is this trade. And it's not like the best scenario right now because the market just moved so much. So remember the rules, guys, on 4-hour, on the daily time frame, on our swing trades. We want to look for the lower highs. We want to wait for the lower high points. So right now we're just so overextended. That's why I'm anticipating a pullback. That's why I'm bumping up and looking at where is a level of support or resistance that when price reaches, we could see rejection and we could get that lower high. Let me hit the chat real quick. Any questions, put in there. So when you're creating the support level, how far back do you usually go? I don't normally go back too far. I like to use common sense here. If I'm on the 4-hour time frame, why do I need to go back, all the way back here? We have everything we need right here. Even this is a little bit dramatic. My rule of thumb is, obviously it depends how big your computer screen is or whatever, but if the chart starts to look like this, I'm going back a little too far. I want to zoom in a little bit more. I have, again, everything I need in my view right now. I can see we have resistance there. If I want to go back a little bit further and confirm it, I can, but I don't even necessarily need to. Resistance there. We have resistance here. We have support here. Resistance all along this level. And this isn't the cleanest level in the world. Don't get me wrong. Something a little bit more with like a little bit more clarity would be my lower level. You can clearly see price jumped off this area, moved off here, moved off here. So that's a little bit more clear of a support level. But again, 4-hour time frame, don't go too crazy with going too far back. It's just like literally not needed. It's unnecessary. So let's go to UCAD. Maybe we can map out this again on this pair. So weekly time frame, since the market just moved, I'm going to bump up. First thing I noticed when I was analyzing this is we are testing this like minor support level. We have this right here. This was that little pullback on the weekly time frame. And then going back, we also have support there, support there, support there. So whether this is going to be strong enough to hold price here is to be seen. I am personally anticipating price to shoot a little bit higher into this area right here. If I come onto the line chart, we can clearly see this is a very significant zone because price moved to this low, made this lower high, moved to this low. Then we broke above this level, formed a support and resistance level. Then we came down, broke above it again, and retested it again. So this area definitely holds a lot of buyers and sellers, in my opinion. And when price revisits here, we can even see over here, we found support, we found resistance. So when price revisits this area, I'm looking for reversal, 100%. That is definitely a strong area for me. That's like my area of interest. That's where I'm looking for price to reverse out. And we can even see on this daily time frame, we were in a downtrend, forming these lows, lower highs, lows, lower highs, low, lower high, low, lower high, and then now we made this low. We are looking for our next lower high, and it can happen all the way up into this area. So this is trade idea number 1. If we're just looking at structure, we're just making it simple, is price comes up into the supply zone, finds resistance. If price just fails and comes up higher, that's trade idea number 2. So this would be our swing trading, 2 ideas for the swing trading analysis. And if we scroll back, just look at the trend, guys. Super bearish, heading to the downside all the way. If price starts to shift, it's going to start to break and then head to the upside. Momentum starts to shift, it'll head to the upside. So I want to wait though until this level gets broken up here. Again, this is our liquidity zone. This is where price could definitely reject. So for the swing trading analysis, trade idea number 1 is going to be a short from this area right here. Very simply, targets are going to be all the way back to this low, and we have a lot of room to put our stops if we want to. Remember, always doing the stops at least 2 to 1 on the swing trading ideas right here. And then trade scenario number 2 would be the break and retest. Then we'd look to long. Now, let's talk about what do we do until that zone is met. We can see on the 30-minute, the trend is bullish as fuck. Let me just see this. I'm just going to delete this. Or actually, I'll leave it on. I'm just going to make it a little bit lighter. So let's come down to the 1 hour to the 30-minute. So this thing is just bullish. Bullish, making highs, higher lows, highs, higher lows, highs, higher lows, high. And then we just made this little higher low right here. So what I'm going to look for is price to either find support in this area right here. In that case, we would get another push up into that zone we were just talking about, which then would be our short area. So look how much room we have here. Price, find support. This is like intraday. This is an intraday move. This would be something a little bit more quick. If we entered here, our targets would be up here at about 220 pips. Stops would be kind of close because if it starts to break this level, we don't want to be in the trade. So stops would be pretty close. This would be a little more high risk reward. Definitely a higher risk trade, 100%. Would be putting on a lot more risk doing this one. But that would be an idea for early in the week. But then if price manages to move up into our like liquidity zone, then we're going to actually look to take that swing trading idea. So this is UCAD. Just know your zones, guys. For swing trading, you only want to swing trade when you're in a zone, when you're in an area where price could find reversal at. And I just personally don't see this as being a significant area for resistance. I know we have support here, support here. We certainly could make a case, but as I scroll back and I look at the higher time frame, I scroll up to the weekly. This is definitely a more significant area up here. So that is where I'm personally going to base my swing trading idea off of. That's where I would be way more comfortable. So until then, we'll look to potentially take a long into that area. So that's UCAD. Let's take a look next at Gbp Jpy. So this one's looking super interesting. Similar to GU, it fell off a cliff, and we were anticipating this. We were anticipating this last week when we were up at this level. We had resistance up here. Price was showing us signs of reversal. We had this bearish candle, this spinning top candle showing us that price was struggling. And then coming down to the 4-hour time frame right here, we were in this downtrend on the 4-hour. So this is what I'm talking about. We started to make consecutive lower highs and lower lows. And then price had this like little bit of a fake out, which is why I personally didn't get in on a trade. And then it literally dumped, as you guys know, 260 pips. So what do we do now? First thing I do, bump up to the higher time frame. Boom, higher time frame looks super interesting. So higher time frame has been very bullish on GJ for the entire year, going all the way back to September of last year. It has been bullish. We are getting some resistance right now, as you can see. Let me just see. Yep, we're getting some resistance right now, as you can see, price falling off. But we're entering this like support zone now. So I'm basing this off of this level, these levels right here. I'm definitely noticing that we could see a reversal off of this area. As I come down to the 4-hour, though, it's really just bearish. You know, it's certainly just bearish as fuck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an aggressive trade on this one. Basically, and this is a lot less high probability than a swing trade, but basically if price breaks and retest this level, I'm going too long. So this is a little minor resistance that we just formed. This would be the idea. Break, retest, enter right there. We can put stops even very conservatively down here. So this is idea number 1. Only enter this, guys, if candles close above this resistance. So we need candles to close like this, where price shoots up. That's what we need here, price to shoot up and close above that level. And then we need to come back and show signs of support. So it needs to form a bullish engulfing. Look at this level, price shot up, and then just dumped. There was not one bullish candle that formed after this. So we don't want to get fooled by this right now. If price comes up, we're going to look for it to hold up here, come back, find support, and then go long. And if it does happen, once we long this, it's going to come up. Then it'll be in our resistance area. And that's when we'll bring our Fibonacci back on right here. And then we'll look for a new swing trade idea. So this week's going to be a little tough for the swing trades, guys. Last week, the last 2 weeks, swing trades were excellent. I had personally given out trades on this session because prices were just simply at lower highs. Price was just simply at lower highs. So right now, everything's just super overextended. So we got to be a little bit more patient. Let's see what some people said. NZD looks like it's coming back to test a head and shoulders neckline on the weekly time frame. So when creating the support level, we already did that. I see a UCAD cup and handle form daily time frame. Yeah, I want to hear your guys' feedback. What are you guys thinking about some pairs? I'll go back over to NZD USD, bump up to the weekly time frame. So you're saying that you're seeing a test a head and shoulders on the weekly time frame. So yeah, I don't personally see a head and shoulders, on this weekly time frame, unless you're talking about this head and shoulders kind of down here, where price had this left shoulder, head, right shoulder, not the cleanest in the world. I don't categorize this as a head and shoulders up here at all. Just isn't the pattern. But look at this. If we get the break, if we get the retest, guys, at this level, this would be a perfect swing trade idea. Price comes up, retest the resistance, and then we head lower. So that's personally what I'm looking for right now. So remember on this one, 2 ideas. Either immediately we're going to take a short here, or if price manages to get up to our resistance level, then I'm going to take a short there. So volume slow today. I guess the holiday, Father's Day, all the fathers out there, shout out to you guys. I guess volume's a little bit lower. So tomorrow, once I see some moves, I'll probably put out some more analysis. Nick's going to drop all his analysis tomorrow. Again, he's unavailable today, just enjoying the Father's Day festivities. He's not a father, but he's just chilling with his dad. So obviously respects to that guy. Guys that missed a Sunday call in years. So yeah, we'll update tomorrow. I was looking at gold for a buy. I was waiting on it. Yeah, let's look at gold. I'll analyze gold for you guys for a bit. Let's bump up to the weekly, bump to the monthly. Clearly, I don't have any analysis on here right now, but just rolling out, on gold, something that I'm noticing right away on the monthly time frame at least is like this is a serious fucking high point that was respected. Now that's turning into support right there. So gold is looking very interesting coming down to the weekly time frame as well. I would categorize this as a support area. So gold could be in store for some buys. I was waiting on it to break 1780. Let's see, 1780. Yeah, so it's right there. So coming down to the daily time frame, this thing is looking fucking crazy. So last week it dropped significantly. Coming to the 4-hour. All right, so gold is pretty much in this area. I'm noticing this support level. That's obviously what we're respecting. This is the 2 ideas on gold. If gold breaks this level, we are going to short for that further downward movement. We don't have to put all the way down here. We can just put it right here. But if gold does start to get above 1780, like you said in the chat, that's when we're going to look to long it again. We're just going to get into a buyer's, more of a buyer sentiment. And that would also be nice. We'd break some minor resistance here. And the way that I look at it is we had this like late push, which tells me that sellers just drove this thing down. And this was the last final, like, okay, exhale. And now we're about to push back up. So gold, does look like a good buy. We're in a support level. If it does manage to break the support, then we will look to short, but only then if we do break the support. In daily, I see a bat pattern. I don't personally I've never learned bat patterns. If you want to drop a chart, with a bat pattern, feel free to go ahead. What's also interesting on this one, I'm going to bump up to the weekly time frame here, is guys, this could be a massive head and shoulders pattern. Let's see, where the hell is this thing? So I'm looking at it like this: left shoulder, head, right shoulder, this area. So we are potentially forming the right shoulder of a head and shoulders pattern right now. This would be a major move. If this comes back, literally 1,400 pips, this thing could come back really aggressively right now. And that would mean the dollar would be bearish for the week. If the dollar is bearish, let's just go over some of our ideas originally. If the dollar is bearish for the week, guys, that means that UCAD rejects here, doesn't manage to make it up to this level. That means that GU, doesn't mean specifically, but that means that GU will push up into the resistance that we're looking for. That means NZD USD will push up into the resistance. That would be great. If the dollar is weak early in the week, that would be fantastic, because all that would mean for us is that price would move back into our swing levels. Like, I am specifically just trying to swing trade these pairs right now with this analysis. I did give more intraday moves. These are much more risky because they're just not based on like higher time frame stuff. But if price does manage to, let's see, we got this bat pattern. So yeah, I guess he's got this. I don't know much about bat patterns here, so I don't really know what I'm looking at there, but that's his trade idea. Do you use COT data? No, I do not use COT data. The only thing that I use, and I mainly focus on this, guys, when I am intraday trading. So if I take this intraday trade right here, and by intraday I mean like I take a trade based on the 1 hour time frame, because that really means that I'm expecting price to reverse more immediately. So if I take this intraday trade right here and I'm watching the news, I've got this news coming out. This would be the next significant event. We've got home sales on June 22nd. So in 2 days, on Tuesday, that would be the next significant event, and consumer confidence for the euro. So no significant news until that point. I don't need to worry about the news till then. So I've got the events at the bottom of my screen here. That's what I'm going to use. So this is, again, this little intraday idea. But guys, if the dollar is bearish for the week, which it looks like it could be, let's come back over to the dollar. Let's come up to the weekly. So looking at this, price, like I said before, does look like it can pump up into this level right here. So I don't know. The dollar is got to show us something within the first day of the week, because right now, all this tells me, guys, is that there's buyers here. Nothing tells me yet that we're going to reverse. Sure, we have support here, but until we get a break of even a minor level, this thing is bullish. Dollar is bullish. So with that in mind, let's go back to our gold idea, because if the dollar is bullish, that means that we could get idea number 2, which would be a break and retest and go short. So we are going to either long this one. This is going to be trade idea number 1. Long back into these highs. We can put stops below here. So this is trade idea number 1. Trade idea number 2 is going to be a simple break and retest pattern. So if this breaks our support level, we move this over a little bit more. If this thing breaks our support level, guys, we are going to short the crap out of this thing. And this is going to be the idea. We're going to look left. Where's the next support level? I see one like right here. So I'm going to move this up. This would be like our first TP. That's at 420 pips. And then we would have, obviously, move our stops just above the resistance, which can be right around here. That would be about a 2-to-1 risk reward. So this trade scenario 1, trade scenario number 2. So guys, we're going to be a little bit patient this week. I don't see any swing trading ideas. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come back on tomorrow or Tuesday. I'll update you guys. Nick's gonna get his analysis out tomorrow. With he's gonna go over gold, EJ, AJ, AU, UJ, all those other pairs. So this is pretty much it for the analysis for the week. If any of you want me to cover anything else, just write in the chat right now. I'll give you guys a second. And if you have any other questions, feel free to write in the chat, guys. We could do a little, Q&A if you guys want to. If not, I'm about to hop off and just chill for the rest of the night. Get ready for the week. All right, let's see here. GA, show your dream homes folder. I honestly don't even know what's in there. Dream homes. All right, let's see. Let's see what's in the dream homes. We'll forsake the analysis for a second. Hold on. I don't even live in this state anymore, so we'll see what's in here. We got this $1 million home. So my dream home, guys, is a lake home. Let's see if we got another one that has more pictures. I want to live by the water. That's definitely like the vibe for me. Let's see this. Yeah, so I guess these are sold, so I don't got too many pictures now. But something like this, I mean, I know it's a lot, 1.6 million estimated refinance, 1.6 million or 9,000 a month. Let's see what else is in here. Let's see what the third one is. What is this? 14, 23. Let's see what 26 is. I am starting to look at some properties down here in Florida. So this one's mad nice. This one's like, my ideal kind of place, but the area that it's in is not my thing. It doesn't have too much diversity. I personally like to have diversity. I like being in a city, with multiple cultures, multiple different types of people. I don't like being in an area where it's like non-diversified. I don't know, it's just not my thing. But yeah, this house is fucking sick. So yeah, that's my dream homes folder. We're not gonna go into this one, the crypto mining, but that one is coming soon. Come to Puerto Rico. Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, no, I'll keep, grinding away. Definitely looking at something down here, renting right now. But once I learn the area a bit more, then I'm gonna definitely try to get in and buy something. It's about that time. Should we expect signals tonight? Yeah, the signals will come out. I think the volume's just a bit low because in the US holiday a bit. I'll logging off. I'll get you. Yeah, we'll catch up, Darren, this week. I know you've been meeting with Nick. We'll hop on a call though, me and you. As always, thanks for hopping on, bro. Hope you have a good week this week. Keep smashing it. Rosa, appreciate the support. Demarius, the signal. Yeah, we should get some signals tonight. I'm gonna double check on it in a little bit. We'll see, what ideas are out there. But we will get some signals out tonight. If you guys that don't know, the Rapid Signals Forex League is a pretty large community. We do easily get in touch with other communities on Instagram, and we are doing a collaboration with them for the Rapid Signals. So there are multiple traders in there. That is why there are so many signals being given out per day. There's literally 10 to 20 signals per day. Last week was like as good of a week as it's ever going to be because the news went in our direction and there was a big news event that last week with FOMC. So literally, like, we had a lot of trades hit, all the USD pairs hit, catching a lot of pips, a lot of moves. But just because last week was such a good week, don't over leverage your account this week because there could be some losses. It could even out a bit more. It could be an up and down week considering how much everything has moved last week. So just be mindful of that. Like, don't over leverage your account this week. But there's going to be a lot of trades given out. There's always like at least 10 trades a day in the signal room. and we're always kind of working on to get it better. You know, as you know, it just launched, so we're just trying to continue to improve it, get the verified results. I've got $100,000 account connected to it live with FX Choice. You know, they're regulated, so I trust them with the money. So we got that account connected to them. Last week made about 6%. I was only risking 0.5% per trade on that one. Let's see. You'll pay less taxes. Actual 2022. Yes, sir. Unit's going to keep selling. BTC is rejecting sell right now. Bitcoin to the moon. Yeah, I actually pulled all my money out of crypto as soon as my neighbor started telling me he was buying BTC. That's or no Doge. So that's when I was like, okay, I need to get the fuck out of this. Tron, I was in. I didn't sell at the high, but luckily I sold up here at about 12 cents. So that was a great move on my part. So I'm gonna toot my own fucking horn on that one, but definitely a good move. That was not crypto. That's one stock that I'm in though. PLTR, US stock, sushi I was in, but I got out again. BTC, let's take a look. See, guys, XRP, I am looking for XRP to come much lower. I'm not trying to like predict anything, but I am looking for XRP to come literally back to these lows. I'll leave this on, not to be like one of those dudes that goes on Instagram and is like, oh my God, I called out the bottom. Like, no one really gives a fuck about that. But like, I am not buying XRP unless it hits 20 cents. Once this thing hits 20 cents, guys, whew, this is going to be a crazy fucking trade. Once it comes down here, I'm not even going to use that because that's not the most accurate thing because I'm not going to leverage trade this. I'm just going to outright buy shares. So you can see if this thing hits 20 cents and comes back up to $1, that is a great risk reward for me. If it comes back to these highs that I just tested, that is a fantastic risk reward. So I'm looking to buy it at 20 cents. I'm getting ready, looking for the exchange. I've got some money, gonna throw it on. That's what I want. Don't see a lot of people talk about it, but during SNL, Elon Musk, he showed on the screen he wants Doge to go to 1 cent. I got the screenshot. Yeah, no, Doge is gonna come down. Should we get out of crypto? I mean, if you didn't get out of crypto yet, you really, you really shouldn't. Damaris, where did you buy at? Because like this is the thing. I'm gonna be transparent with you guys. The whole reason I got into trading was because in 2017, I was trading a little bit before this, I started trading probably in about 2016. But in 2017, I learned about crypto. I got into crypto. I bought Tron here. Not that high. I bought Tron probably around here. And I lost a lot of money. It came down here, went down almost 100%, my money. Came down a lot. As we can see here, literally came down 80%. So I had a huge loss on Tron, and that's what promoted me um, to want to learn how to trade, learn SR levels, learn different strategies, learn how to identify something like this so it never happens to me again. And that's what I did. That's what I did. I went and learned. Now this time, and I like to say, like, when I was looking at this last week, this was like my test over the last 4 years, 5 years. Have I learned a thing? You know what I mean? Have I learned a damn thing? And once Price made this wick right here, I was like, fuck this. I'm not letting 2017 happen again. I'm exiting. That's why I exited here. And then ended up dumping. Not that I predicted any of this or whatever. It could have shot up. Yeah, you always need to have an exit strategy. 100%. Always have an exit strategy. You know what I mean? Never just buy in and like not have any plan or anything like that. So if you're in crypto right now, just transparently, if you're in crypto, you're holding, say you bought up here on any of the pairs, you've already lost a considerable amount on your investment. It's already down 50% in some cases. So what you should be doing is dollar cost averaging. You should be buying now. You should be buying at support. Like if I look at Tron, every time Tron gets to a new support level, I would be buying this. And that's what I did. I'm going to be honest. I bought here back in 2017. I lost 80% of my investment. What did I do? I held for fucking 3 years. I held. I kept buying. The most recent point I had bought out was here in November of 2020. Then we had the push and I sold up here. So I ended up making a lot of money on this only because I dollar cost averaged. If I just bought here and held, I really wouldn't have made that much. I would have made 30%. But because I dollar cost averaged, I ended up making about 300% on the original position. So if you're in crypto right now and you bought and now you're going to hold, you got a dollar cost average, guys. Anything, any amount. I'm going to go ahead and get out. No. I mean, if you have money, just keep dollar cost averaging it and you'll be fine. But yeah, crypto is super interesting right now. Everything is just like, look at Doge. This thing is bear. No one in their right mind would say this is bullish. This is bearish as fuck. Look at this. Bearish as fuck. I would be scared if I'm in Doge right now. Doge has so much room to come down. And guys, that's why we don't buy at the highs. You buy up here. Like, let's go back in time and just take a look at Doge. And like, this is literally why I got out of crypto, was just looking at Doge. Let's look at Doge. So say we bought here. There is no target. There's literally no target. Like, of course, they reached $1, whatever, but you have no target here. Like, you're literally buying here and praying. That's what you're doing. You're buying and there's no target. You're like, okay, it's going to hit the moon. And you have a lot of room to draw down. You have all this room for price to come to where you can lose your investment. And then what? Say price comes all the way to the low. You would have to have your target at, let's see. So let's map this out. To have a 2-to-1 risk reward on this trade, you would have had to have your target out here. Now let's look at, didn't Doge actually come up to that level? Let's see. What's the highest Doge went up to? Okay, so Doge didn't come there. For some reason, I thought Doge went higher. Doge only came up, the highest it came up to was this area, which you had no idea if it was going to come up there. The risk reward on this trade was a 1-to-2. That's a shit trade for like a long-term position hold. Long-term position holds, you want to have a 1-to-2, 1-to-2, 1-to-3, 1-to-4, but you don't know where this is going to go. There's no target. So there's no value. There's no value up here. Now that we're having a pullback, now that we have support, this is the area to buy Doge. This is where there's opportunity down here. If you buy Doge down here, guess what? If price fucking literally goes to zero, whatever, it is what it is. But say price just reaches your previous high, all of a sudden you have a 1-to-5 right here. So goes back to the low, is what it is. You lose some of your investment, draws down to here. But if price does manage to find support there, you have a great risk reward on that one. So that's just, crypto is all about opportunity, guys. There's no opportunity right now, so you can't be buying in. We got people showing their times. So going back to, we have Doge. Let's look at Ethereum really quickly. Ethereum looks a little bit better, if I'm going to be honest. But bumping up to the monthly, this is a nice support area. And if you were to buy in here, you have the lows down here. You have the previous high up here. If you want to even measure up to the wick, price has been here, guys. Price has been here before. So this isn't like making shit up. Like when you were buying up here, you were legit making shit up. You were like, oh, it's going to go to 10K. Like that's an illusion. It's literally an illusion. Like when you were down here, When price was back in this area, let's just line it up. Let's line up when price was here. You could have marked this as a zone, and you could have made sense of buying here. You could have used some logic. You could have had stops here, and you're like, okay, I'm targeting the previous high. 3 to 1, 300% gain. Who doesn't want that? That's a great trade. You could have easily scouted this one out. Let's play it forward. Now let's look at, let's get off this. Now, obviously, it went super bullish, and at this point, I always advise taking profits. So I would have taken profits here, and then you could have let it run, and then what? It went 14 to 1, 10 to 1, but I wouldn't have held this whole position. I would have definitely taken profits here because the money is not yours, guys, until you take profit. Can you do Matic, Polygon? Bro, I don't know algebra. I mean, I'm good at math, quite a good with the mental arithmetic. I'm quite good with it. But I don't know Matic. I don't know Polygon. 22. I don't know why everyone's saying their time, but yeah. So we're about to wrap up the session. I'm just looking at Ethereum. Guys, there is no value buying Ethereum up here. We could go down to the weekly. You can make a little bit more sense of it. You could say, oh, okay, we have a weekly support right here. So I want to buy Ethereum in this area. If price does manage to draw down, let's get rid of this. We have, previous high up here. So we have a target, and then we have our worst case scenario, price comes all the way down here. We're only going to make 100% on that trade. You know what I mean? It's a 1-to-1. Best case scenario, find support there, and we have a 10 to 1. Second case scenario, find support at this other level that we marked. I'm personally waiting for price to come down into the $1,000 range. That's when I'll start buying Ethereum. Coming up to the monthly, that's that monthly resistance. So this is my Ethereum idea. Price coming here. That's the only way I'll buy. That's Ethereum. We have our Doge idea. Price coming down there. We have our XRP idea. Price coming down here. Let's come back on. Let's move this up. Doge. Let's look at, and I'm not, no crypto expert. I'm just using TA, and I'm just using my best judgment. Bitcoin right now moves the whole crypto space. And I think 20 to 24K is a good range to see reversing. I don't do options. Yeah, 20 to 24K is decent. I think it's even too aggressive. I think price is going to revisit down here. Again, I'm not, an expert. I'm simply just using, worst case scenario here. I predict it's going to come down there. I don't really see no support at 24K. I don't know what's at that level that people want, that people think it'll reverse at. But I personally believe BTC is going to come all the way down to around here, 12K, 14K. And then we can make sense of getting back in on this. We can make sense of getting back in on this, back to the highs. I personally am a believer in BTC. I do think the long-term target, it could get all the way up to 100K. So save your money. Save your money, because when this opportunity is here, this is a 600% gain once we get back down to the support level. So that's everything I'm going to go over. Went over some crypto, some Forex major pairs for the week. Nick will be on tomorrow, drop some analysis. He'll do EJ tomorrow, AJ, everything. Yup, 12, 13K. Same with me, BTC. And I'll get this recording on YouTube in a little bit. And I'll update you guys tomorrow on the swing trades. We're just patient today. Last week, I entered 4 trades on the Sunday market Blitz. This week, we didn't enter any. So every week's different. This week we'll be patient. When I get in on my trades, I'll give them out for free, the swing trading ones. Everything else is inside of the signal room, the rapid signals for the week. Obviously that's all the premium signals that's going to be out in there, and the live sessions where we're trading the intraday strategy. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoy the Sunday. We'll talk again this week. And as always, thank you guys so much for all the support. Peace out, everybody.